Spring is here. Allegedly. The poet John Clare once wrote, "March, month of many weathers, wildly comes in hail and snow and rain and threatening hums and floods." And I think this was exactly the sort of thing he had in mind. Getting absolutely pummeled by hail. It's the 1st of March. Welcome to spring. I'm walking towards Ainhoe. Is it Ainhoe Village, I suppose? Even though it's hailing, I thought I'd get out and have a bit of a walk because I've been a bit indoorsy the last few days. The weather's been a bit crap. Been doing loads of work. Oh my god, it's so muddy. So I thought I'd go for a walk. I'm going to go to the wharf, pick up a few bits because they've got a little shop there, and then I might walk to the actual village where there's not really anything, but just to have a look at it. It's really muddy on the towpath because I don't want to wear wellies. I hate walking wellies. Lovely. Lovely. As well as an excellent book swap, this wharf also had a coffee truck. The opportunity for a proper flat white in the countryside doesn't come every day, so I did not hesitate. It was good. There's also a pub right here next to the canal, so in terms of amenities, this is kind of an amazing spot. I was going to walk into Ainhoe Village. It's like 1 mile, but unfortunately it's 1 mile on like the most unpleasant, horrible, like fast moving A road, which doesn't really have a pavement or even like a decent side. These like guides say, oh, you know, lovely village, well worth visiting. But how are you supposed to visit it? Like, am I to levitate there? Like, they can't expect surely most boaters to drive there because we're boating. Like, you know, most hire boaters don't have a car with them. So it just feels absolutely ridiculous when the guide is like, lovely village, go visit it, without mentioning that it's on like a rancid road for an entire mile, which has got bits of kind of smashed up car sprinkled all over the side, which doesn't really fill you with confidence. So yeah, now I'm walking on the towpath. Much better. After spending the last few weeks moored in a town in Banbury, it feels incredible to be back in the countryside, despite the occasional lack of pavements. Banbury is hardly the concrete jungle where dreams are made of, but in comparison to living in the centre of town, it's so quiet and so peaceful here, and I really appreciate that. I just got back from my walk, so I thought I'd show you what I got from the book swap. I came prepared with a couple of my own books to donate. I got No Logo by Naomi Klein. I just read her latest book, Doppelganger. doppelganger a trip into the mirror world, which was really good. It was a really interesting look at kind of the concept of her own doppelganger, Naomi Wolf, who kind of she started getting confused with a lot as Naomi Wolf started falling into the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and about the experience of that, of being kind of mistaken for this person who for a long time she didn't mind being mistaken for because they were doing kind of similar work, and that was fine. And then she did mind a lot when their outlooks on life and their kind of political views, when their views started really like going in different directions, and about kind of that experience, but also as a metaphor, the doppelganger as a metaphor for wider issues in the world, in politics, and kind of making sense in a way of the madness of the world since the pandemic. So both politically and kind of socially, and using the doppelganger as a sort of metaphor for that, like for everything there is an opposite. So this mirror world, there is an opposite side to it. It was really, really interestingly done. So I really enjoyed that. I read listened to the audiobook, which she narrates, which I really enjoyed. But I have never actually read arguably her most famous book. I suppose The Shock Doctrine is also very famous, but this was her first big book, No Logo. So I'm very excited to read that. It's incredibly stylish. She talks about this book in Doppelganger, and about how the marketing for this book and stuff was quite interesting. But I'm going to look forward to reading this. And then I got The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. I've read her first book, but I don't actually know if this is a separate standalone. The thing is, they make these all look the same. The design of these, they all look identical. So it's actually hard to tell if they're like a series or if they're just looking the same because they're the same writer. But either way, I wanted to read this, and I knew that it was like The Appeal. I knew it wouldn't be one to read on audiobook or Kindle because it's all like emails and kind of files, like messaging files, audio files. So there's a lot of like kind of transcripts and stuff. So I was actually waiting to pick this up as a physical book, and here it is, the hardback. So that's really excellent actually, so thank you. Shout out to whoever donated this. I'm really looking forward to read this. I read The Appeal when I was at home in bed. Was it when I had COVID? Possibly. It was when I was literally laid up in bed for like a few days and I just didn't move from bed, and I just read the book in one go, and it was just such a fun like whodunit mystery thriller. Love books like that, so I hope I will also enjoy this one. So yes, that's my haul. We're probably going to go through there tomorrow because we need to pump out before we carry on. So our plan is to go towards Hayford and stop at, I think it's Lower Hayford, and we're probably going to be stuck around there for a couple of weeks because there's going to be a stoppage either side until like the 15th of March. So we kind of want to get ourselves into a good spot where we can be happily for 2 weeks, and we figured that that was quite a good spot because it's right next to the train station. So we could from there go to Oxford on the train, and although there are no real shops or anything there, we could get the train into wherever, Oxford or somewhere else, Banbury, to do shopping and stuff. So yeah, those are the kind of considerations you have to make in the winter when you also could just be stopped somewhere at any point because of the weather and flooding and stuff. The flooding's been pretty bad since we've been on the Oxford. I don't know if that's this year or if it's always like this. Like there was no issues with flooding last year when we were in the Grand Union, but I guess we were also like in one place. And this year we have seen that Broadston was flooded, so maybe this was just like an unusually wet, floody winter. I hope that it will mean that we have a glorious, brilliant spring and summer. Today is officially the 1st of March. I think from now on the anticipation is of when we do the last fire. like when we no longer have to do a fire. There's usually like a bit of a transition period when you have the stove going the whole time, and this whole week it's bloody freezing. Like I think it's actually dropping to below 0 to -1 this week, so it's not going to be this week. But then eventually it starts getting a bit warmer, and then you only need to like maybe fire up in the night, in the evening, and then you start thinking, is this the last one? Is this the last fire? And then eventually you get the last fire. So really looking forward to that actually, because the fire takes a lot of time and a lot of faffing, and I love having it. I love having it on. I love the warmth. I hate being cold. Quite enjoy doing it. I like the kind of routine of it. It's quite nice. You like have to do the same things, you know, stack it up, clean it out, empty the grate, all of that kind of stuff. But it's also like quite a hassle to have to keep on top of, and I'm quite looking forward to not having to do it. It feels impossible that one day we'll just have the hatch open and we'll be sitting out at the back and just enjoying the air. It seems like a dream, but it's coming. Spring is inevitable. It's coming. I can't wait. The only problem with slow cooking something is that it smells so good in here for 4 hours. I want to eat it now, but it needs 4 hours. Hello.
How are you feeling?
Fresh as a daisy. It's Saturday. I could lie and say morning, but it's 2 p.m. and we're going to go to the wharf and get a pump out and get water. That's the big task for today.
We might not be able to get water.
We should try to get water.
Is there somewhere else that we could get it?
No. Of course it's windy. Of course it's raining. But that's just March. There's apparently word of another Arctic blast. Another one. In March.
But we've got plenty of coal, so...
Exactly. Aren't you glad we brought all that coal? I am. The lady said where we were moored, I don't know if she meant from front or behind, it's called the bunny field, because I assume there's bunnies there. That was nice. This is a very boating look for me. It's raining. We've got everything we need. We've got L-sand fluid, we've got 2 bottles of wine and some crisps. This is a winter canal adventure. We did all our usual tasks at the wharf, got a pump out and set off again, and the rain was really coming down now, but we had to crack on. This leg of the journey was actually a bit stressful. It was really windy and there are so many narrow sections under tiny lift bridges where you had to really be careful to take it straight on. Even just trying to pull up to the side of the bank to let Andrew off and on to operate the bridge was quite challenging because of the wind. It wasn't the ideal conditions to be cruising really, but we needed to push on if we wanted to get past this next stoppage, so we kept going. The changing weather did provide a lot of entertainment for us as we cruised. The scenery around us was absolutely beautiful. We went from pouring rain to rainbows and then back again. And this was another stretch where we didn't see another boat or another human being for miles. So it felt like it was all just for us. We moored up a little bit before Hayford, just before it was starting to get dark, and where we stopped we had absolutely no internet, not one single bar of anything, so staying here wasn't really an option. I was keeping my fingers crossed that a little bit further along in Lower Hayford there would actually be some free spots for us to moor first of all, and also hopefully there'd be a little bit more internet. So the next morning I walked down to recce the prospective moorings and check things out in Lower Hayford. We had heard from other boaters that the internet connection started to get harder and harder to come by south of Banbury, but we'd been doing okay so far, and frankly we didn't have many better options. We were about to get stuck on a short stretch of this canal. We couldn't go forward and we couldn't go back. We'd be there for 2 weeks. We just needed to find the best possible spot, and quickly. The moorings at Lower Hayford looked perfect. Plenty of space for us, not far from the water tap and rubbish facilities, which is also great, and the most pretty location. Near to a train station, they even had a little shop at the Hiya boat base. Brilliant. I did a speed test of the internet, which seemed slow but not unusable, so I walked back to report my findings to Andrew the old-fashioned way, because he was still on the boat with no connection and I couldn't even text him. We decided, even with the whole internet situation, to head forwards to Lower Hayford and stop at those moorings for 2 weeks. We weren't far at all, it was just round the corner really, but there was one lift bridge in the way. The church bells have been going for about an hour. Once we got there, the internet was bad, but it was just about usable if we cut down to the bare essentials. It's Claudia Schiffer.
Hello.
She's stunning. I was quite excited to do a digital detox actually. I was convinced I would have 2 magical weeks of internet-free productivity, no distractions, I was going to get so much done. It was completely delusional. The idea of internet-free productivity is very romantic in principle, but unfortunately the rest of the world doesn't stop turning because you decided to do a digital detox. I had a VAT return to file, so off I went to the cafe in the next village along to hunt down some decent Wi-Fi. Biggest treat of all in the countryside. A little bit of pavement. As countryside pedestrian routes go, this is highly rare and excellent. I'm walking to Middle Aston and I'm out of breath because I'm walking up a hill. It's really warm today, but I'm dressed as if it's the middle of winter because I think I've got like winter trauma where you constantly dress as if you are going to freeze to death because it's been so cold for so long. But this actually feels like it's spring. So I've completely overdressed. I'm wearing a parka and a jumper and a long sleeve t-shirt, so I'm sweating it out under here. But so nice to see a blue sky. just got humbled by a small child as I was about to go to the village shop. I was on the other side of the road with its mum, I assume, and he goes, "Why does she have pink hair?" And I was like, yeah, good question. Why do I have pink hair still? Because it was supposed to be quite temporary and wash out, but it hasn't yet. So now I have pink hair. Right, I'm on some kind of footpath, trying to work out if this is the right way or not. It said Lower Hayford, so I'm hoping that I'll end up in Lower Hayford, but it's one of those footpaths that isn't on Google Maps, so it's a bit of a mystery. Let's find out. The countryside's quite weird because, like, someone could just kill you out here and no one would know. Like, they would know eventually because, like, probably they'd find you, but, like, for a bit they might not know. I mean, I guess I've got, like, find friends tracking on me, so probably they would know quite quickly. But still, it's just weird. Like, right now I'm just in a field. Like, it's just a field. But, like, if someone wanted to kill me, they'd have to know that I was here, and they'd have to sort of lie in wait, and they wouldn't know that I was here because I didn't know I'd be here, so I'm probably fine. My main worry is probably not the murders, it's this. It's the mud. Let's see if I can scale my way over that. We did it. Over there we have the eye catcher, which is called a sham ruin. It was literally built just for the aesthetic, so that the people at the large country house that's all the way over there, somewhere behind, I guess they're higher up, you can't see them right now, had something nice to look at. So this was just made for their view. Designed by William Kent. I don't remember what year, but quite cool. People have been doing things just for the aesthetic since literally the beginning of time. I hope there's not going to be any cows on this walk, because I'm more worried about them than I am about murder. I mean, those two things are not mutually exclusive. It can be murder by cows. That's probably the most likely thing to get me out here. Terrifying giant beasts. I'm on a bit of, like, open land that is, like, not visibly a path, but we'll see. Probably I'm on someone's field or something, but it said public footpath, so who knows. The countryside is a mystery. How does any of it work? Do people have a secret map of some sort? Probably. I don't have it. Oh my god, I just saw a deer. An actual little deer. It's probably not a deer, it's something in the deer family. But it was just hopping in front of me and had like a little white tail. It was like Bambi. Oh my god, nature's amazing. Okay, I'm now on like a drivable track. So I assume this will come out somewhere by a road. But literally, who knows? A minute ago, I just saw a big version of the deer, Bambi's mum or dad. Then I was like, oh shit, I hope deer aren't like cows. That if they've got young, they'll like trample you. So then I was like, shit, let's get out of here. So then I had to basically wade through a bunch of mud. But now I'm back. I'm back in civilization. Okay, that was too much excitement for me for a Wednesday. That wasn't even a shortcut. That was actually out of my way. And now I'm just covered in mud. Look at this. Lovely. Love that. On the plus side, great cardiovascular workout. Look at the cloud. Hello. Thanks so much for watching, and an extra huge thank you to my patrons. See you next time when we'll be exploring the gorgeous city of Oxford.